on your Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us. In California now, the liberal policies that make laws weaker are making criminals bolder. The retail crime surge even turning deadly as a Los Angeles Rite Aid employee is killed while trying to stop beer thieves.
Here to discuss is FOP National Vice President Joe Gamaldi. Joe, are you as surprised as a lot of people out there that this is continuing and nothing has been done about it?
Well, it just seems that another day passes and another crime is committed. I mean, what's going on in California right now is a complete and utter tragedy, what they're doing to these businesses in this community. We are seeing a huge spike in theft after the San Francisco and L.A. DAs decided that they're not going to prosecute thefts under $950. I mean, shocking, right? We tell criminals we're not going to prosecute these crimes, and they start stealing everything that's not nailed down. I mean, it's gotten so bad that Walgreens has closed 17 stores in the San Francisco area. I mean, the private sector gets it, but somehow these elected officials don't get that they're contributing to this urban decay. And we need to get back to being tough on crime, embrace the broken windows theory, because that's what led to historic crime reductions in this country over the last 20 years. But instead, they've gone the other route, and we've seen dire consequences. In L.A., the murder rate is up 48%. I mean, at some point, we have to stop the madness.
Meantime, speaking of madness, it has been 1 year since her summer of love up there in Seattle. Now, the mayor there, the Democratic mayor, Jenny Durkan, calling for more police to curb the violence. So are other mayors as well. Yeah, I said that right. More police. Here's the full screen statement. As a city, we cannot continue on this current trajectory of losing police officers. But as I said last year, the city has an obligation to still continue constitutional policing and respond to 911 calls. Joe, couldn't she have avoided this problem if she did not give in to the woke mob in the first place last year?
Yeah, you know, I find it interesting because all of a sudden politicians in Seattle and Minneapolis and Washington, D.C. suddenly want to fund the police and they want to hire more police officers. I mean, where's this energy been over the last 20 months as we've seen a historic surge in homicides? We had over 20,000 people murdered in the United States in 2020, which is numbers we haven't seen since the mid-90s. And in 2021, we're actually outpacing that number. So, you know, why the sudden change of heart? Well, because a recent Washington poll post is telling them this was the highest number of Americans in 20 years across all demographics that believe violent crime is a major problem in this country. So now all of a sudden, when it's politically expedient to want to hire police officers, suddenly they want to jump on the bandwagon. But ask yourself, how many people, how many fathers, mothers, sons, daughters were sacrificed on the altar of the woke anti-police movement? I mean, it's truly disgusting.
Joe, you mentioned the crime numbers in the mid-90s. I'm curious now, you know, take us back to that time and how long did it take to be able to get things back on track? Like, how long are we looking at here? Because this is something that's not going to change overnight.
Well, I'll tell you, if people don't start pushing back and showing up at their city council meetings and voting these politicians out, it's going to take a very long time. I mean, it took us nearly 2 decades to clean up the streets the last time, but the American police officer delivered. And if we enforce the laws like we have on the books, stop giving people slaps on the wrist when they're shooting people in the face, stop letting people out on multiple bonds, embrace broken windows theories, we can get this back under control. But it's going to take a whole new slew of politicians that want to actually enforce the laws we have on the books. Otherwise, we're just going to see this continue and things are only going to get worse.
Joe Gamaldi, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.